So now we're going to talk about various costs that are included in the cost of our plant assets. And so we also consider those costs to be called capitalized costs. Capitalized costs. And so when we talk about capitalized costs, we talk about other additional costs that are incurred in order to get an asset to its intended purpose. So let's think about that. I'm going to repeat the definition of capitalized costs. Any costs that happen or incurred in order to get the asset to its intended purpose. So of course you have a purchase price, and we know that we record all our assets on the books at cost, right? We've done that with inventory, we've done that with our plant assets. Whenever you purchase it, that's what you record the asset on the books at. You debit that asset for that amount. But you also have additional costs that you have to pay in order to get this particular asset to its intended purpose. And so that's by definition of what we consider capitalized costs. Those are the costs that happen that you must have to pay in order to get these assets to its intended purpose. Intended purpose being whatever it is. If it's a machine, doing machine work. If it's a building, building. Whatever the intended purpose of that asset is. Those costs need to be capitalized. That's why they call them capitalized costs. And so when we have capitalized costs, all capitalized costs are included in the asset. Capitalized costs are included in the total cost of the asset. Which means for recording purposes, we always debit the asset. We debit the asset for those costs. So let me give you an example. The book talks about certain costs that could be capitalized, right? Let's think about a machine, right? Now, let's say we bought a machine. Well, obviously, we bought a machine, we have to debit the machine for a certain amount, right? Fine, we get that. That goes on the books for our machine for the cost. But what other costs that may happen that we have to pay in order to get this machine to its intended purpose? What if we have to pay shipping costs to get the machine here, or delivery costs? Well, ask yourself, if I don't pay this delivery cost, will I be able to get this machine to its intended purpose? And if the answer is no, I will not be able to get it to its intended purpose, then that gives you justification that it's a capitalized cost. So back to the delivery. If I don't pay for the delivery, will I get the machine? No. So is that a capitalized cost? Yes, because I need to pay for the shipping in order to get this machine to its intended purpose. Okay. What about insurance, right? Insurance that I have to pay to get the goods to me. Again, this is a capitalized cost. What about once we get the machine, we have to pay for installation, somebody to put it together. Again, if I don't pay anybody to put this together, will it become a part of the intended purpose? It will not. So that's a capitalized cost. Even training. What if I have initial training for the employees to be able to successfully use the machine, right? If I don't pay these guys to successfully use the machine, will I be able to get this machine to its intended purpose? No. So even initial training is a capitalized cost. So any one of those particular situations will be considered capitalized costs. And when they're capitalized costs, you always debit the asset for that amount. Okay? Obviously credit cash. Okay? So that's an example of what costs need to be capitalized. Buildings have capitalized costs. Land have capitalized costs. Sometimes furniture, it just depends. All those assets may have those costs that need to be capitalized.